I felt very tethered when this first happened, and now I feel really free because I'm not scared anymore. In fact, I was just thinking that a couple of months ago I totally ran out of oxygen because I pushed it, and I was able to sit and wait till someone could go get me some more oxygen before I would have panicked to the point where I would have ended up in the hospital because I would panic if I ran out of oxygen. So I just sat and pursed-lipped breathed and felt in control.
Well, it is a fact that you have COPD, the spectrum of chronic bronchitis, asthmatic bronchitis, and emphysema, and it's probably not your first choice to have this problem. But let me tell you something. You can do a lot about this through pulmonary rehabilitation. First of all, you are going to learn about your lungs, how they function, and you're going to learn how to deal with whatever impairment you have. You're going to learn to take medications more efficiently, to breathe more efficiently. You're going to learn to exercise, and you're going to improve. You won't believe this, but with the scenes that you are about to visualize, you're going to be a participant in this whole process of renewing your life through the process of pulmonary rehabilitation. And when it is complete, you are going to be a much happier and healthier person. The program at the Lutheran Medical Center is a direct descendant of the University of Colorado program, which we started many years ago. But the thing that makes this so unique is that it's in a storefront with convenient parking for patients and families. So join me inside and you will see the staff and the patients in action.
I'd like to welcome you all to Project MOVE, the pulmonary rehab program here at Lutheran, and we're going to talk about some of the topics that we'll be discussing over the next 3 weeks. But first I'd like to talk about the goals of the program. One of the goals is we hope to increase your knowledge about your lung disease, your condition, and what's happening to your body. And we'll do that with the different classes that we offer here, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a few minutes. We also hope to increase your physical endurance so that you'll feel like doing more, getting out and doing the things that maybe you've stopped doing, curtailed, because you just haven't had the strength to do it.
I have a connective tissue disease called scleroderma, and was full-time teaching and was at a stage in my life where I didn't want to face the fact that eventually I was going to have to be on oxygen the rest of my life. So I taught full-time, and about 2.5 years, excuse me, 2.5 years ago I went into respiratory failure and ended up in the hospital and went through transtracheal. As you see, I don't look like I have oxygen on. The oxygen is here in my neck. And went through a period where my body was working so hard to keep going that it was quite a while before I ever felt like I was going to ever be half a person again. So after my transtracheal was done, I came to Lutheran here, the pulmonary rehab, and couldn't make it in the front door without my aunt helping me to carry my oxygen. And at first, when I began rehab here, I could only do the treadmill for about a minute, could only do the bicycle about 2 minutes, and I was in dire need of pulmonary rehab. And now I come here to rehab twice a week, have made many, many good friends, can do the bicycle 20 minutes, the treadmill 20 minutes, and I go over to my old school, and I like the new person that I am. I'm called a story lady. I read stories once a week to the kindergarten and the pre-kindergarten and the extended day kids and catch up on all the gossip and kind of enjoy living now. I'm going to be a cloud.
A lot of the times the number one goal that we hear from pulmonary patients, especially here in Denver, is they want to get off their oxygen. Sometimes this is a realistic goal, but most of the time it's not a very realistic goal, so that is a problem that we have to help the patient with in accepting wearing the oxygen and being comfortable with the oxygen. When patients are here in a group, it becomes very easy for them to give each other support and being with other people that are on oxygen, and it makes it a lot easier for them to then go out into the community after being here with a group, and they feel a little more comfortable, like going out to the grocery store or going out to the restaurant or whatever.
We need to identify the ideal patient for pulmonary rehabilitation. The patient must have COPD, which is chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. The patient should not have any other severe medical problems such as heart disease, psychiatric problems, severe orthopedic problems that will interfere with the pulmonary rehab program. The patient needs to be highly motivated to come into the program, give up a little bit of their time, willing to learn about their disease, take control of their disease, and take control of their lives and carry these things on outside of the center in their everyday activity. I think that's the real key, is a motivated patient, a patient that's motivated to be in the program and is open to our suggestions and us being open to their suggestions so they can make changes that will be helpful in their lives.
My name is Richard. I have eczema and a few other diseases. I've been oxygen a little over 2 years now. And recently I talked to a friend of mine. He told me about Move down here and the benefits he was getting from Move. Up to now, I've just been staying home, you know, having pity for myself. I talk to him, he goes every place. He does everything, goes trips and everything. That's what I want to do. That's why I'm coming down to Move.
I've enjoyed playing the violin ever since I was a child. And before I went on oxygen, I even had to give that up. I just didn't do anything. I just sat around the house and wondered why all this was happening to me. I heard about the Move class and thought we should investigate it. We did, and we became part of it. When we come to class, we have a good time exercising. We do a number of things. We tease each other, and the teachers included, and they tease back, of course. But not only that, but we share notes, so to speak. And we're interested in each person who comes into class, and we get to know what condition that person is in. And if a person is failing a little bit, we're aware of it and try to help them fight through it. So we are concerned about each one. And you find out that some of your best friends are now those people who are in your exercise class. And I realized that I could do more things. And the more I tried, the more I could do. As a result of that, I play with a pianist, and we visit nursing homes, rest homes, high-rise apartments, wherever seniors congregate, in churches sometimes. And we perform for them either hymns or golden oldies or a little bit of bluegrass and gypsy music and what have you. And I really get excited about it because it's, to me, that's living.
We have a class where the discussion is medications. the correct use of a meter dose inhaler. When we do our evaluations at the end of the class, the two things that patients say that help them most is the correct use of a meter dose inhaler and the breathing retraining, the pursed lip breathing techniques and abdominal diaphragmatic breathing techniques.
We have approximately 100 patients in our program, and out of that 100, anywhere from 5 to 7 continue to smoke or are nicotine dependent. We don't tell them you have to quit. We encourage them. We try to give them alternatives. We help them. We help them is the key. Secondly, again, we have that support group. We have 10 people in a class. Maybe 9 of those others have quit smoking, and they tell patients or that one patient how they quit. Support is another key. So the support system is again a big factor. And shake it out. Okay, put your weights on your chairs. Okay, real easy. Let's stretch a little bit. Okay, take your right arm, pull it across you. Breathe in. Need some air, don't we feel? Other arm. Breathe in. Okay, easy. To loosen up those shoulders, go for a swim. It's warm enough outside. The reason that we have these patients doing these exercises is to increase their strength and endurance so that at home they can do more of the activities that we take for granted that are easy for us but difficult for them. It makes those activities hopefully easier for them to improve their mental well-being so they feel better about themselves, that they have more control of their disease, to alleviate fear and anxiety so they're not so anxious about their disease or about their shortness of breath. We want to change the quality of their life. We want to make it better.
Okay. When pulmonary rehab program here at Lutheran was started 11 years ago, it was started by one respiratory therapist ran the program. And I think that's important to know for rural communities where you have a small staff, a small department. It doesn't take a lot of manpower to do this. When we first started, we started in a borrowed facility. We would use the space when cardiac rehab wasn't using their space, then we were in there. And we had another facility that was available to us to use on a part-time basis. It's important to let you know, too, that Medicare, for our program, Medicare reimburses 80%. That is the coverage for 3 weeks of education and 6 weeks of physical conditioning. The skills that they learn here, we hope that they adapt to their activities of daily living and are able to go on and participate in activities that maybe that they haven't, maybe that they had stopped doing before, like playing golf. We have several patients here that will go out and play golf. They take their oxygen portable with them. They have to ride a cart now, but they can't carry their clubs anymore, but they're still out there and they're still teeing them up and they're still hitting them. And that's the purpose, is to get them out there. We have patients that still horseback ride. They put their oxygen portable over their saddle horn and off they go. We have patients here that travel quite extensively. It's kind of hard to do. It takes a little more effort with oxygen, but it can be done if you just persevere. And home care companies are very willing and able to help a patient on oxygen set up the oxygen so that they can go about traveling and doing the things that they enjoy doing. We're talking with Dr. Karen Kelly, and she's an internist here at Lutheran, and she refers her pulmonary patients to us, and she's just going to talk to us about some of the benefits that she has seen through the patients that she's referred to our program.
One of the main benefits I've seen is overall good health maintenance in terms of the patients taking care of themselves, taking responsibility for their symptoms. They are very active and get into exercising, and try real hard to do a good job. They feel more comfortable here because they're in a monitored environment, and when they become short of breath, they're not getting very frightened, and it saves me a lot of phone calls and educating in the office because I now have them linked up to a program. They're being monitored. It's a safe environment for them, and they do real well.
As far as the psychological aspects, you talked about the support. Do you feel that's very helpful with the patient?
Definitely. I see it especially in a patient that is newly put on oxygen therapy chronically. There's a big reluctance on the patient's part to want to go out in public with their oxygen. They don't know how to drag it around. They hide it from family members, and usually they try not to wear it, and there's a big denial that goes on. When you put them in an exercise class and they're with 40 other people wearing oxygen tanks, nobody feels sorry for them that they have to take an oxygen tank to the grocery store. Nobody feels sorry for them if they relate stories where little children laugh at them in supermarkets because they're all in the same boat.